Carl, it's sweet. You gotta come home. Our moms are dead. We're having a funeral. Talk to you later, brother. Well, if it isn't Carl Wisconsin Johnson.
Officer Turnperney.
You know my name is pronounced Officer Turnperney. I suppose you haven't yet met my partner, Officer Pulaski.
Pulaski!
No, calm down, officer.
What do you guys want? I just got into town.
Yeah, we heard you're coming in, Carl. We're here to pick you up, on account of we heard you shot a police officer.
Pulaski! Pull!
No, Pulaski, let him talk.
I didn't shoot any policemen. I'm here for a funeral, man.
That's real convincing, except we found the murder weapon, and it looks like it's yours, Carl.
Are you blackmailing me? Look, I just got into town, seriously. The flight had a time that it set down. It's recorded, so, like, a lawyer's gonna have no time getting me off.
No, that's not how it works, Carl. Look, Carl, you need to get in the back of my police car.
I'm not getting in the back of anyone's police car unless you have a warrant for an arrest.
Pulaski, you sleep harder!
Pulaski!
You got off easy that time, Carl. Next time Pulaski uses hyper beam.
That's how it's always been in the hood. For about as long as I can remember.
Hello everyone, my name is Taylor.
And I am Ray. And welcome to the game that gets us demonetized, if we had monetization, yes.
That's Peyton.
And if this is your first time on our channel or seeing any of our content, boy have we got a lot of things to explain to you and a very few number of good explanations.
Not from lack of thinking about it though.
No, I constantly lie awake at night wondering if I'm doing the right thing.
You're not, for the record.
Moral consciousness is overrated. But okay, here's the premise. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a game that encourages the player to do a lot of silly things, but none of the cutscenes represent the kind of craziness that you actually perform. In fact, the main character Carl is often portrayed as a guy who is sort of just in bad fortune and doesn't belong in this neighborhood sometimes. We think that's dumb, so we're animating our own cutscenes to replace the game's cutscenes.
You could generously call it animation.
Because it's terrible, yes.
That's why it's on YouTube.
No one else would publish us. Also, we are beautiful ladies, yes.
Including me.
Including Taylor, and we are spider monkeys.
Not including me.
Taylor is in fact a gorilla. Please hold your questions until we're never going to answer them, don't worry about it. Okay, so picture in your mind's eye, yes. 2 beautiful spider monkey women in makeup and a gorilla, also makeup. Have you got it? Good, those are your show hosts.
Aren't you all just so lucky?
Really and truly, and now cast it out of your mind because honestly none of that's gonna come up really at all.
This is the kind of careful planning and construction you're dealing with.
It's very progressive. So anyway, on to the game. So, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was released in 2004. That was over a decade ago as of the date of this video.
Man, like sands in an hourglass.
Where does the time go? I know. Into sleeping and eating and promises you'll do everything tomorrow, yes. I meant rhetorically, where does the time go? Not like, please sum up my life within a single sentence. I'm not saying that's a bad life, yes. I guess everything's relative. But okay, speaking of relativity, that means that a lot of our viewers on YouTube are too young to remember San Andreas. And in fact, I think that this was the last ever Grand Theft Auto game made.
Well, that's not true.
No. They still release games that they call Grand Theft Auto. They have the branding, but they don't make Grand Theft Auto games anymore.
Even by that logic, they released a bunch of Grand Theft Auto Stories games.
Okay. Shush.
As long as we admit that you're wrong.
So it's the very last Grand Theft Auto game because it was the last time that the games ever really felt like this. From the PlayStation 3 onward, Grand Theft Auto was no longer as irreverent and chaotic. It started to take itself a lot more seriously. You got characters like Nico Bellic, who was depressed and not really into being insane.
Well, they were going more for a crime drama angle. I think there were a lot of big HBO crime dramas around that time.
Oh yes, we always remember the crime drama of the man who drove on the sidewalk, yes. Yes, or the HBO crime drama where they drove planes into little old ladies because it was funny.
I'm not saying it worked, I'm just saying that was big at the time.
Well, back in the day, Grand Theft Auto used to be the most controversial video game. Nobody in the news had ever played it, but they had all heard terrible things, and they reported on the second or third-hand reports, as though it were all true. When has that not been how the news approaches video games, yes? I mean, that's still how they do it a lot of the time. But, I mean, back then it was all, scandal. Like, I remember they were like, oh, you get points for running over a hooker, and you get even more points for stealing her money. And I think in Grand Theft Auto 3 that was true. There was like a separate score system, but the score didn't mean anything.
It just kept track of how insane you were.
Yeah, and you know, you could take pride in that if you wanted, but there was no point.
Well, there were points.
Right, but there was no points to the point system. It was like a holdover from the old arcade days. Also, you used to get money if you blew up a car. My friends and I called it the mysterious benefactor. He was always pleased with you destroying things.
Sadly did not survive to the San Andreas days, yes.
Okay, actually, or rather, he's not around. The San Andreas days are supposed to take place before Grand Theft Auto 3 was released. This game is set in the 90s.
The glorious 90s, when cartoons were good and everyone was rad, yes.
Ripped denim jeans were a thing. But we really don't get much of the 90s culture going on, except for some of the music, which we're never gonna hear because we don't have the licenses for that.
And no one is sure about the legality of Let's Plays either.
We don't know if any of this is legal, but everybody does it. Anyway, that kind of concludes our preamble.
Great. Grand. So now what do you guys want to talk about?
What'd you guys have for breakfast, yes?
No. We are not gonna start with the most banal possible topics.
How about we discuss how much you hate YouTube, yes?
No,
That is all you want to talk about, yes?
No, that is when we are out of ideas, okay?
What if I had a really interesting breakfast, Ray? You are depriving our viewers of that information.
Fine, what did you have for breakfast?
Nothing!
Gosh dang it. Why did you make me ask you?
It was a test, and you failed.
How do I fail if I asked you?
It's a emotional test, and you failed before you began.
Well, that's not new or interesting because by default, that's every test in my life.
You gotta study, Ray.
I didn't have anything for breakfast either.
Well, me either.
Good. We've explored that entire topic.
Gosh, that was fast. Whoa! Ambulance mission's done. Even on fast forward, I felt like that was a little tedious to watch, so I wasn't gonna make you guys watch it twice in a row.
Yeah, you really dropped the ball on that first run.
I want to say that it would have worked if that guy had gotten in my ambulance faster, but honestly, I'm not sure if he could have.
Some 1,000 people just watched you completely suck dick at video games, yes.
Well, I am sure they got important stuff to do, but they'll do it tomorrow. It's okay.
After a nap, yes.
After a well-deserved nap.
I don't know about that in your case, yes.
Okay, so I do have a conversation idea. You know when you think about those news channels and they're all like, Grand Theft Auto is teaching our kids to kill. You know, I don't think I could be a murderer.
No kidding.
Have you tried, yes?
No.
Well, how do you
Of
know
course-
unless you try, yes?
Well, of course I haven't tried. But you know, I can just think of like how it would go. This is how I know I couldn't be a murderer. Like, I'd kidnap my victim, but I'd be so nervous. And you know what I do when I get really nervous? I like to talk to people. So like, who's there?
You're a victim.
The victim. So I turn to them and I'd be like, you know, hey man, this is my first atrocity against, simian kind. How are you doing?
Badly. I've had better days. I stubbed my toe this morning and now I'm abducted.
Oh yeah, man, that sucks. Yeah. Is this your first, atrocity? Is that what they call it?
Oh yeah. You're the atrocitor. I'm the atrocity here.
Exactly. And pretty soon it would just become a conversation, and I wouldn't even remember why I was doing the evil in the first place, and I'd lock the person up in my basement, but I'd get really attached to them, and then I'd go out and I'd have to kidnap like a girlfriend or a boyfriend to keep them company, and then they'd fall in love, and I'd want to see them get married and have babies, so I gotta kidnap a justice of the peace or a minister or whatever to marry them, and then you gotta kidnap the whole family, right?
But why? Why do you have to kidnap the family?
Cause, the family's gonna wanna see them get married. Like, how sad is that if they wanna be with their family for that big event?
And they can't, okay, of course, right?
Yeah, and then, they get pregnant and they're thinking about like, well, this basement's not big enough for us.
Cause you got them pooping in a bucket, they're gonna need more than one, they're gonna need more than one bathroom.
There's 0 bathrooms, yes.
Okay, 0 bathrooms.
A bucket is not a bathroom.
More than a bucket.
Man, that bathroom is gonna be a problem during the wedding.
You're gonna have to get more buckets is what you're gonna have to do.
Oh god, it's so gross. I was here thinking about like the expense of the wedding. I wasn't even thinking about, gosh, well, okay.
You would hire people, yes.
I mean, isn't it like a biohazard?
I think the cleaning crews can handle that kind of thing, yes.
Well, anyway, the point is, like, I couldn't afford to throw their wedding and stuff. They'd be much better off if they were independent and they had their own jobs and they'd be free to, like, move out whenever they need to. And when I get right down to it...
You're not even sure why you would kidnap someone in the first place.
Yeah! Where is the benefit? Exactly.
Because you're lonely, yes.
Well, then I should just get a dog.
You know what? Have you ever thought about adopting a dog as actually, like, kidnapping a dog? I mean, that's...
No,
I mean, that's kind of what it is, isn't it, right? You steal the dog from its mom?
No, that's so sad.
Dogs get tired of their kids anyway, yes.
I've heard it depends. It's a personality thing for the dogs.
Yeah, some dogs get really attached to their kids, and other dogs actually wind up finding their kids kind of annoying.
Okay, so hang on. We better explain something while there's still time. So there is a hunger mechanic in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It was introduced this game and is kind of widely panned as one of the most annoying parts of the game.
I don't know if it was considered the most annoying part.
Well, it was an annoying part. Basically, Carl has to eat every now and then, or otherwise he gets hungry. And then when his hunger meter goes all the way down, he starts to lose muscle, and he can also start to lose health. Now, we would stop to buy Carl a hamburger, but there's a catch. I don't think that you can get Carl food until you play far enough in the game for someone to tell Carl that he can eat. So, because we're doing these missions...
We're just starving to death.
Carl is a man. He doesn't need food, yes. Well, if you save the game, I think it restores the hunger meter, so you can go a while without eating. Could we potentially play the entire game and never once feed Carl, yes? I mean, we could. I don't know if we'll go that far. We'll see.
No, you can't, because the mission where they introduce food, they force you to buy a meal.
Oh, yeah. They'll break our hunger strike eventually. We have to. Aww. Well, I mean, we could go back on hunger strike afterward. Then I don't know if it's still fun, yes. I mean, it's whatever. We'll eat when we have to. Having muscle doesn't really matter. It just makes us jump over fences faster, and I think we run a little bit faster.
Why worry about that in a game that revolves almost completely around cars?
Yeah. But the funny thing is that there is actually dialogue that recognizes your weight, but no dialogue that recognizes that you haven't eaten for days and you are literally wasting away.
Presumably that's why we're doing our own cutscenes.
Yeah, like dying from starvation is a pretty notable thing. I feel like they should bring it up frequently. Would be pretty amazing if the game did that, yes, but it didn't recognize the need for you to have access to restaurants this early on. Well, you're supposed to go straight to your house. I mean, like, you can't even get a save point unless you go out of your way to earn money like we've done. So theoretically, it shouldn't be that long before you get access to restaurants, and saving does reset your hunger.
So, just for clarity, in the future, we're not going to be the most boring Let's Players on Earth, and we're going to actually do missions and advance the plot of the game, right?
Yeah. I mean, the cutscenes actually take longer in certain cases, so I don't know if we're going to have the weekly upload schedule or any of the blistering insanity that people often commit to on YouTube. We're going to do these as often as we can. So not often enough, yes. Yes, never ever often enough.
Well, that's kind of the catch about YouTube now, isn't it? All the formats that are really fast and easy to do, everyone has done them to death. So the only thing that's left is to work a little bit harder and then just languish in obscurity.
Yes, we are going to fail, as we have with many other things.
But we're gonna have a really good time with it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's life. That's how you gotta do. Few people could turn repeated failure into an art form quite like you, Ray. Yes. You know what? I'm just gonna take that as a compliment. I mean, sure, if you want. You know what actually inspired this series, though? The Dragon Ball Abridged guys, Team 4-Star. They started doing this,
Machinima.
No, well, it's not really a machinima. It's like, Final Fantasy VII Abridged, but it's like edited together, and they have some of their own, like, limited animation.
They take a really long time between uploads, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can afford to. I mean, and putting work into your stuff, it takes a long time.
You are in a different situation than them.
I know. I didn't say it was gonna. I'm just saying they inspired it. It's kind of a more fun take, I think.
Their artist is also better than the person doing our animations.
It's not about the quality of the art. It's about the spirit that goes into it.
I think talented, hardworking artists would disagree, Ray.
Well, they would disagree because they're right. I mean,
well.
You know, it takes years of experience to get good at some kind of technical thing like that. And when we used to compete with people on the level of skill rather than on the level of volume, I mean, we always got completely trampled by people with more technical skill.
You still get people.
You know, they would disagree that, I mean, spirit counts, right? It matters that you keep trying, but if you suck, yes. Yeah, but, you know, if you keep doing it, you won't suck as much, hopefully.
Well, you know, they say that they value trying more than they value succeeding.
Who is they? Who values trying more than succeeding?
I meant audiences. They like to see you try more than they like to see you succeed.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess the struggle is more interesting than the ending.
Well, the struggle is the story.
All right. Well, speaking of struggling and ending, this is about where we're gonna end this video. So remember, guys, we pretty much survive thanks to support on Patreon. So if you'd like to help us out and pitch in a couple of dollars, it really means a lot to us. Thanks to those who are doing that. Otherwise, if you just want to share this video with your friends or something like that, notoriety also helps. But that's it. We hope you guys liked the video and that you have a great day.